It's time to learn a new word, sequencing. In our case, we're not talking about the sequencing of DNA, but rather the deliberate pacing of information delivery. Sequencing is when you provide information in a more natural way with a conversational rhythm that allows people time for processing, thought, consideration, and care. With modern technology, it is possible to provide so much information so quickly that it ends up being a bunch of noise. No one wants to be overwhelmed with a lot of information. When you receive too much information at once, it becomes off-putting and difficult to process. In my experience, most people find United Ways to be overwhelming. There's so much information to process that it's hard for people to engage and invest in the work of Your United Way. If you struggle to explain what Your United Way does and you babble on for a couple minutes trying to do so, it's likely the people you're talking to will feel completely overwhelmed by all the information. At Perspectives, we've been aware of the concept of sequencing, even if we didn't know there was a word for it, for the past decade. In order to understand how United Ways can sequence most effectively, we've conducted research with thousands of local United Way donors about what information they need to know and the ideal order for sharing that information. Based on our research, United Way should sequence 4 types of information in this order. First, the issue you are addressing, such as poverty, hunger, or the graduation rate. Second, the actions you're taking to address that issue, such as operating a one-stop financial stability center, funding food pantries, or funding mentoring programs for at-risk students. Third, the results of the action you've taken, such as 30 families are now financially stable, 300 people have received food in an emergency, or 40 students are now on track to graduate. And fourth, how can you give or volunteer for United Way to address the issue, such as donating during a workplace campaign or volunteering during a day of caring. When you sequence, you do not need to say all 4 of these things at the same time. For example, when you're using social media, try putting your issue and an action in the first post. In the second post, share a story about the results of that action. Finally, in the third post, ask people to give or volunteer to make more results like that happen in the future. Based on our research, we recommend that you do not sequence listing all of your partner agencies, describing your entire allocation process, or highlighting your administrative costs. This information will not be of interest to the majority of your donors, so when you include them in your sequence, you're making it harder for your donors to figure out why they should support your United Way. Think about the issues and programs you really want and need your donors to understand, and then use sequencing to communicate with your donors in a way that doesn't overwhelm. My name is Gary Gashensky. I'm the Senior Consultant at Perspectives Consulting Group. To learn more about how Perspectives helps United Ways like yours be relevant, sustainable, and impactful every day, visit www.focusperspectives.com.